Welcome to the 50th episode of Dive with Devi. 50th Extravaganza. Is that how you say it?
Extravaganza!
The 50th episode. Now she is in the hot seat and I get to sit behind the camera. So we're going to dive into some subjects today.
Oh, how the tables have turned.
Yes. It's revenge time. First question.
It's so scary to be in this seat. Oh my God, I'm
This is
scared.
what her mother asked me to ask, Hanba. Do you believe in aliens?
Have you met your mother?
Okay, I rest my case. Okay.
Yes, I do. Of course I do.
You believe in aliens?
Of course. You don't?
No evidence to believe.
No evidence to not believe.
Doesn't mean you believe. You kind of need some evidence to believe. Okay, what shall we go into today? I think one of the things I want you to address is there's a lot of view that younger people don't have a view.
Okay.
That all the views and opinion are set by the adults.
Like regurgitated opinions.
And you are asked to just be faithful to the views of the older. From your view as a young person,
Okay.
do you think young people have views or they don't? They're yet to develop a view.
Okay. I think they do have views, especially the next generation, the Gen Zs. I think my generation in general, because we came about when the internet just started, so we were still all we had was our community, our family, our friends, our parents. And if just say you just lived in one country, that's the view you had. But then with the new generation, they're on the internet, they're on TikTok, they're on Instagram. They can see so much more that even though they're okay, this is what I see in my hometown. Just say you're in a small kampong. But then you see in the big city, there's women who are working, there's gay people, there's this or that. You're oh wait, there's that too. And then they can kind of form their own opinions. But I also don't think there's any really pure opinions from anybody. Don't you think? All our opinions are sort of based off somebody else's opinion or whatever our point of view is, it's always influenced by another. How do you even have your own point of view? Do you even think adults have their own point of view?
Good inquiry. But I'm asking like this. When I was a kid, all our view were what was set by the adult. The young do not have a view. The young can make some mild protest of the older view.
Okay.
Are you saying that this new generation, for the first time, is going beyond the accepted view?
Definitely. I think my generation, the millennials, around 40 and younger, I think we started it.
Yeah.
Because I think your generation, there was still more survival. And I think we kind of pushed past it. So if you think about body positivity, for an example, in the early 2000s, in the 90s, there's one way women look and there's one way men look. And then suddenly the people within my age, they change. You see models who are plus size, you see this, you see that, all this the first fat model, the first this, first that. That wasn't the case when I was a kid, when that previous viewpoint was enforced. But when I look at my cousins Apshy and Sasha, I see them and I'm oh my God, you guys just have your own thing going. You guys are better than even we were. And I think that they are pushing it further and further. But I don't think maybe we're all the way there yet.
You see, there's this concept, when I was growing up. It's called the new man, the new human. Do you think the younger generations have that responsibility? Because before we just inherited.
Okay.
And we modified. I took what my father said and I modified it. I never rebelled. And it's very conforming. I'm asking your view now, as a young person, do you think there is an inherent responsibility to give birth to a new view that is not confined or just hereditary?
Yeah, of course. I think it's it's a responsibility. It's not an obligation. You don't have to do it if you don't want to do it, but I think we ought to do it so that we all pave the way a little bit more so the next person that comes feels a little bit more at home. And I think that the young people are doing that.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you this. What is the something new that you think has to be upheld by your generation?
Why are you asking me such hard
No,
questions?
it's not a hard question.
Jesus.
No. What is the new? What is that you don't agree with the old, and you think the new has to be heard?
I think that like people in your generation specifically are more afraid than the rest of us. Like they don't want us to speak out as much, to be as like rebellious, as radical. I feel like young people are so much more radical, and I think we should be more radical. And I think like we should stand up in a way that people often accepted like the oppression and like the political situation. Like, oh well, it sucks, but what to do? And I hate that. Like, I feel like we must say something, we must do something. If you look at like America, like the young kids, like during the pandemic when they were protesting, the people at the front of the lines shouting at the police officers and all, some might not have done it perfectly, but the bravery that they had and the radical, like the radicalness that they put out there, it's not something I've seen the older generation fully be able to do the way that they have. And it's not, I think the people who were radical in the past, who paved things forward, were people who were already marginalized. So they had to. Like, if you were gay and you just needed to live, you have to be a radical. But now it's like the straight kids, like the white kids, like everybody who is privileged, they are also speaking out and doing it. And I think that it's really important.
You see, down the ages, we go into this subject, and down the ages, the younger people are never respected, never heard.
Yeah.
They wait them out to become old to join the old ideology or adjusted old ideology, right?
Yeah.
How do you think things should be after this?
I think it's not right. Like, look at our government, right? A few years ago, we had a prime minister who's almost 100 years old. That's crazy. You're not going to see any of the laws you put in place like really come to fruition. We are going to live the consequences of what you did. I'm not saying you should put 20-year-olds as prime minister or even as ministers, but I think they should all be brought in as advisors, because like if you look at like a litmus test of what's happening on ground, somebody who's like 70 and above, you're not going to really know what's going on with all the young people, because like, or with the, people who are just in the workforce. If you're already 60, 70, 80, you've already worked, you're probably more likely than not have enough money at least to get by. But what about the people who are just renting for the first time, fresh graduates? All of those people are never represented. And then people are like making laws for them without their input. I just don't think that that's right.
Now, are you saying we as an older generation must hear you, younger generation?
Duh.
Really?
Yeah.
You sure?
We
have lived longer. We have faced life. What the hell you know
but
about life?
the life you lived is not the life that exists anymore. Do you think you can buy a house right now for 200 or 300,000 ringgit? That doesn't exist. That reality that the older people lived in does not exist anymore. You can't just have a single income household anymore. Everybody, even if you have 5 kids, both parents, unless you're rich, need to work. So how do we deal with the economy, all of these things? Basically, the old people like had it so good. You could actually climb socioeconomically. You could be rich, and then like now we all got the shit end of the stick.
So you are saying that the old mind could be obsolete?
No. No. I don't think that's the case. I definitely think there's a lot to learn from older people. There's a lot of things that like, even if you look back at yourself, like if you, like I was reading my journal yesterday and I was laughing when I read it because I thought I was so grown up, I was writing all these big feelings, and I was like, oh my God, I was such a kid. So even in the small space of time, you can grow so much personally, but I think there's also an experience that older people can't understand of younger people, and younger people ought to look to older people for certain experiences that they've gone through that we have yet to go through.
So you are saying, in some sense, you're saying you must accept that you're on your own. You can't rely on the old, that you have to participate. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
That means you accept the old and the mind from the old that evolved was from that situation. Right now we are in a completely new situation.
Yeah.
And if you use the old mind to a new situation, it might not work. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I think it's not working. Look at the world. Look at how divisive the world is. There's like no happy mediums. Literally every country in the world is divided. Most countries look to their government. They say there's no good choice. They're picking the best, like the lesser of two evils. That's how lots of people are feeling all over the world. Something's wrong.
So you're saying you have to step up. You have to step in. You simply can't just follow blindly and repeat the past, right? That means you have to be present. You have to be in touch, right?
Yeah.
Very good. So she's explaining what meditation is, Anba. Yes. The 50th episode, Extravaganza.
Extravaganza.
Okay, let's just go into simple thing. What are the challenges young people are facing?
Why are you asking me this kind of... I asked you, do you believe in polygamy? Do you believe in aliens? Asking me these
Big
grand questions.
Okay,
it's fine, I'm up for the challenge. What do you think?
What do you think the young people's challenges are?
I think depends where you are, right? Everybody's challenge is different. But I was just talking to my friend about this. This friend of mine, she's very wealthy. Her family's very, very wealthy. And I think to the point where she probably might never have to work in her life. And I think for many of us, like, we have to work, but like our basic needs are all met. And we've talked about this before. And I like commiserated with her in the sense of like, if we didn't have enough to survive, our life goal would be very simple, which is a lot of people, our parents' age. It's like, we would have to work because we have to feed our family, we have to pay rent, we have to do this.
Right.
For a lot of people, I think in my generation, because of the success of our parents, that's already met. So now a lot of the challenges, like figuring out how do we make our way in this world. They also talk about like late stage capitalism. So much of what has been to be discovered has been discovered. Like, of course, there's an endless discovery, but so many like inventions and everything are happening so fast. It's hard to find where you will fit nicely. And then you also think about like the progressive like nature of society, right? If you just want to get married and have kids as a woman, they'll be like, you sure, babes? Like, and you can't because you have to work. And so you want a career that fulfills you. So it's like, I think the biggest challenge is like finding where your place is beyond survival.
So could it be, the older generation only venerated survival? All our knowledge and ideology is about survival. Could it be the younger generation has to meet what is living?
Yeah.
It's no more about survival. It's about, like you said, your friend, it's all the money in the world. The only thing it gives is she doesn't have to struggle for survival. But the question of living is alive, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what is living for you?
Figuring it out, bruh. Figuring it out.
Maybe that's the topic, Maybe the journey of the young is to figure out what is living, because we build the road.
Yeah.
We have built certain level of survival. I think if I run a commentary on this a little bit, we got it easy, because the only thing we had to do was survive. We never bothered about living. So what do you think for yourself, what living is? Again, I place the question, it's not about looking for money, pay for rent, having children, fulfilling the basic survival need. Maybe right now the generation is contemplating what is actually living. Could it be? What is living for you?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I just feel like you have to be setting these like big goals. It's almost like it's an endless
but they're
yearning.
all always associated with survival.
So for example, like, okay, I'm so happy we have 60,000 followers on Instagram. I want 100,000. Then I want 1 million. Then I want 10 million. And those are all goals I do want for this, what we're doing. But it's almost like the want is endless. Maybe living is just letting it be and just enjoying that process. Like, okay, I'm just happy I was able to wake up this morning extra early and watch RuPaul's Drag Race before I came here. Like that little bit of like time to myself, I really enjoyed that bit of living.
No, you see, when you say from 60,000 to 100,000 to 1 million, it's still in the gauge of survival. It is still a means to an end, right? So maybe, could it be you are poised with the quality of living?
What do you mean?
You have to define living. I saw my father struggle for survival. Maybe I succeeded in survival and people praise me for that. But it's just survival. I might have more money.
But I think that's you now, right?
Right.
You're past the point of survival.
Right.
And now you're like, now what?
No. I have answered that question for myself 30 years ago. Leave that out. I'm asking you. What is living for you? And when you see your friends, you see, it's a beautiful, this one thing I think it's worth asking. A lot of people are driven for survival. I want a car, I want a house, I want to pay off my mortgage, put my children to school. That's survival.
Yeah.
You have a gap of survival. That survival is okay. So you really have to answer the meaning of living, isn't it?
I don't know. Isn't living just being happy
What does that
or
mean?
being sad?
Okay,
Just
what
feeling
is being
everything?
happy for you?
No, I wouldn't even say it's just being happy. I think it's, I don't know. I just feel like living is just feeling like you're growing, you're moving, you're evolving. And like even in the points where you're stagnant, it's like finding a way to enjoy it regardless. Because I think if you take away survival, you can be bored. But
Right.
boredom is a choice.
But going back to survival is escaping the challenge of living because you're distracted.
Yeah.
So your generation has to define what is actual living means.
Yeah.
And the older generation valued only of survival. So
Do you think that's why people nowadays like are like using more drugs?
Yep.
Drinking.
because you know why? Like, you should take your cat for instance. Jackie, he wants to hunt, I don't know, whatever the house he wants to hunt. You remove that from that fellow, his whole instinct is only for that. Now, when that is removed, there's a gap. So could I say the inability to answer what living means is what is causing a lot of the errors in the world.
Yeah.
So our success is our failure.
But do you think there is an answer to that question?
Of course there
What's the answer? Tell me lah.
No, but that answer is the oldest question. Any civilization reached the peak, then they say, what's next?
Yeah.
Which
what's next?
proves a few things, that we are only designed or we only valued survival. But I'm asking you now. This is Dive with DV and
This
Apshy.
is Dive with Apshy.
Dive with Apshy, 50th
Episode Extravaganza.
Extravaganza.
This is how I usually look behind the camera.
No. Is that how you look behind the camera?
Woohoo!
Okay, let's ask the question. What is living for you? What if you do and be and exist, it feels enough? Like I lived today. You see, I praise the question. My father didn't have it, no? He might have an hour a day sitting out on the mango tree or something down
But
there.
I think that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because like we still have to go to work and all that. And we don't go to work. We go to work because we have to, obviously. And that's maybe the survival part of our life. But you find the joy in that. And then if you have time after work, I get to go to a dance class. I get to go and have dinner with my friends. Or I have 2 hours to cook myself something. Like just having that time for myself feels like living to me.
Okay, and it's important, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that respect must be given, could it be?
To
living, to that
Yeah.
cooking, that sitting.
That's actually what I just told. I just came back from a 3.5 week holiday. And I was visiting my sister. 4 weeks, sorry, I must have 4 weeks. Holiday, we were visiting my sister in LA. And then before I left, she was like, we were driving to the airport. She was like, okay, so give me a audit of my life now that you've seen it. I was like, you need to have more time for yourself. Because the nature of her job is there's a lot of like, they go to work, then they go to work drinks, and they have all this. So from 9 till when she pretty much an hour before bed, she's working. And I said, you need to get up 2 hours before work and sit and eat your breakfast and have that time to yourself, or else you're going to feel miserable. You're just going to be working. And she was like, yeah, I think, like, I agree. Like, that's really important because that's what's going to make you feel like you're actually living your life versus you're just working.
I feel like she's talking about meditation. To be in this moment, to be enough. So could I just add this, Anba, could meditation really mean living when I'm beyond survival and I'm able to immerse myself and that is enough? Could it be?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe your generation is a generation will actually embrace meditation, not like the old. That's idiotic. The old is wrong. I have to make it. That means you have to define it. So living. Right? So now, let's ask a few questions about Apshy.
Oh, God.
Okay. Tell me, who are you?
Who am I? My name's Apshy. I'm 28. I'm 5 foot tall.
5 foot short.
I love to dance.
Is that what you are?
I'm just a girl.
No. Who are you?
Who am I? I don't know, bruh. I'm only 28 years young. I gotta learn. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Okay.
That's what you are. Someone who's figuring you out.
I'm a WIP.
What is WIP? Very good. So you are work in progress. You are discovering. Okay. Anba, you have a question?
Oh my God! Stop torturing Anba.
What happened to the Apshy that presents so many episodes in the woke up show and everything? You are different here.
Oh my God! I'm scared. I'm scared. I feel like I'm in the hot seat. Usually I'm the one asking the questions. Now I feel like I'm like this big.
What happened to you?
It's scary out here. Okay, what's next?
Okay. If you were to give an advice
Okay.
or an insight to your mother,
To my mother.
your sister,
Okay.
Shalini,
To Shani.
Amba, and a few others in your life, what would it be? Start with your mother.
Oh my gosh. To Amma? An advice?
Or an insight, or
insight?
something she needs to know, see, or what you see.
I feel like this is not advice, this is observation about her. I feel like she has a quiet confidence that I long to have.
Very good.
That it's not, it doesn't like push you down. It's not in your face. She's not asking you to tell her she's great. She already knows.
I've been training her for 30 years. Well, she's been
I love
training me.
it. And I love that.
Okay, what would you say something to your sister?
To Aishi, I feel like, I think that she is a very, very sweet, but stubborn, but driven person. And I can see her getting more and more mature and more like an adult. But I think that she needs to relax a little bit. I think she's too tense. She's like this.
Wow. Shalini?
Shani needs to chill. She needs to chill. Shani needs to chill.
Just chill.
She needs to
Chill.
freaking chill. She should come to my house, take a bubble bath. Shani needs a boyfriend. Anybody want to date Shani? Hit us up.
Something for Anba.
For Anva, I don't know.
Why is she different today?
I'm shy. I'm really
Is that how shy looks like? Okay. Outside here, she tortures me, you know.
I like on that chair, nobody can see me.
Okay.
Okay, for Anba, I would say for Anba, just an insight or an advice or what?
Anything.
Let me think.
Wow.
I feel like Anba is a really responsible, good guy. I think he's really nice, but I think he's also really annoying. No, I'm kidding. I don't think he's annoying.
What would you say for me?
For you?
Yeah.
You need to relax, bruh. That's my number one thing for you is that you literally do not know how to not work. I've never seen it. I mean, I've seen it before. I've never seen anybody like you, like that. Before we were like 2 years in the pandemic and every single day you were working. I don't think I ever knew how much you worked until the pandemic. And then I was like, oh my God, he literally doesn't even take a break. Even when you're watching TV, you're still like, I don't know what you're doing on that iPad, but you're typing something. Like I don't even think because you always talk about going to Paris and taking an art class, all of this. I don't think you could do it. Even if, like, you wouldn't want to spend the money on yourself, firstly, but just say you did spend the money on yourself, I feel like you wouldn't even be able to allow yourself to have that experience just for you. Like, you'd feel like, let me take some pictures and share it with my students. I mean, like, you'd always feel the need to share yourself. As I've been observing you.
Agreed. Okay. Like, what do you wish to achieve from the podcast? What made you do this podcast? It's your idea. What do you thought you will achieve? What do you thought will come out of it? Go for it.
I feel like, I mean, I love podcasts. I've always loved podcasts. And I feel like people are always like, we see people as like figures. We see people like, if you take somebody like Meryl Streep, she is like an icon. She's an incredible actress. She's all, like an untouchable person. But then when you see her make a joke about her kids, she said she did Mamma Mia just to embarrass her children. And immediately you like her a little bit more because you know her. And I think for a long time, people just didn't have the opportunity to know other people who, like, who have something to say. And it's so nice that nowadays, like, you can get an insight into somebody beyond their work. Their work is one thing. She's an actress. Meryl Streep is an example. She's an actress. She's like so decorated in that way. But who is she? We don't really know who she is. Somebody could look at you and be like, oh, he's this guy. He has all these teachings, like, and how you appear, like, in a courses, which are all available on our website, guys. Check it out. How you appear on the website, in the courses is like, you're like a teacher, you're like very serious. Even at a retreat, like, in general, when you're giving a lecture, you're one way, but when you're sitting and chatting with your students, you're another way. And when you're sitting and chatting with me, you're another way. And I think it's just nice to give people the opportunity to actually get to know you, because sometimes, especially in this industry and this sort of work, it's like this like perfect like a guru idea that people have. And it's like, no, you like smoke, you swear, you get angry, and like that's what is likable about you.
Yesterday, what happened, I was walking back. One of the guys in the condo, I once in a while say hello. I meet him like 4 or 5 months high. He came up and said, "You are the best. I've been following you on TikTok and Instagram, and you are the only one can pull it off. You take a cigarette and you talk about such a serious subject. You relaxed all of us. Thanks, bro." He was telling me.
But that's it. That's literally it, though. It's like I just think that like meditation and all of this work, it's just like, I feel like it's put in a category where perfect examples, perfect people are only allowed to enter it. People who are so zen, they would never drink coffee, they would never smoke a cigarette, like never. They would never raise their voice. But that's like not the reality. Like that's not human. And I think this humanizes it.
You are teaching it. You see, like Meryl Streep, we only celebrate the work and the survival, but you are saying the real essence of Meryl Streep is outside of it. Is that what living is? One part, I put on a show, I take on a role to do what I need to do. But that's work.
Yeah.
But you are saying the real essence is also don't miss this part of you that is beyond survival.
Yes.
So is your generation going to show the world there is something beyond survival?
Hopefully.
Which is important.
Yeah.
Isn't it? I think that's the point, right? Which means they are making a correction that like what she's saying, like smoke a cigarette, eat a cup of coffee. I mean, that is beyond survival, that is beyond show. That is you without the survival.
And it's also not fake. You know, there's so many ways people try to humanize themselves. Like, Victoria's Secret has this fashion show, the models are so skinny. Afterwards, they'll be like, oh, we just eat like cheeseburgers. Like, no, you don't. That's not real. Like, that doesn't humanize you. That lies to us. And there's that fine line where you want to humanize in truth and not in this sort of way that makes you palatable to people. Because, like, most people are not fully palatable to, like, a major audience. People kind of are horrible, but they're also kind of lovely. And we have to, like, try and show all of it.
You're using the word truth, What is? And you're saying that's the most, not that's the most important part, it's an important part that has been denied. Is that what you're trying to say? You're saying it's time for me to show up as me, not just as an object of survival.
Yeah.
Is that your statement?
Yeah, and I think that, like, when people acknowledge their contradictions, their bad qualities, the parts of them that, like, literally don't make sense, that's what makes me like you.
Which is the human.
Yeah.
Wow.
RuPaul taught me that.
Wow. It's a man who puts on a dress in Anba. You know, right? Yeah. Which is okay. I'm not saying anything. Okay. Last few thoughts. What do you hope this work that we do, this podcast we have created, which is your work, which is what your contribution, I'm just supporting.
He's
What
just
do-
a star. I get to be the star today.
Okay. What do you hope it will do for people?
I just hope it'll get them thinking. I hope that it will spark something in them that they feel seen and they feel understood. It's like always so like touching when you see people are like, this really like, this helped me, this makes finally this click, this makes sense. Even I've had friends or friends say that like, I follow your dad, he makes sense. And I'm like, does he?
Finally.
And I just hope that like when people watch it, if they come to the point of watching a full episode, even like that, it's just like we're just figuring it out. Like we're not here to give you answers, and I hope that it at least opens their mind to think for themselves, because we don't know. We're just trying to open the conversation.
Do you think that's part of what living is?
I guess.
And that is good. Right, Anba?
Yes.
That is good.
Bye guys. Thank
Bye,
you for
guys. This
watching.
is the 50th, what?
50th episode Extravaganza.
With Apshy Vimal. Thank you very much.